What's going on, everybody? It's your host, Selna Kim, America's face of dating, and we're back with another email newsletter today. And this one's kind of a kicker because the title of the video, as you guys can see, is Another Guy Answered Her Phone. And so it's just as it sounds. A guy was talking to a girl. He said he's been watching my content for 2 years, but I don't know how far he's come, if this is still happening to him. But a girl, basically, he was talking to her for about, I think it was 5 to 6 weeks is what he said in the email here. But she started pulling away. And as you can see, as we're about to go over here, he started getting like a little bit thirsty for more of her attention. And when that was happening, she started pulling away, and then another guy answers her phone. And so I'm going to stress to you guys in this video that, when a girl's pulling away from you, the confident man, he never chases that. You're never going to see like James Bond situation where he's talking to a girl and she says, "You're never going to have me." You never see him like, "Oh my God, please, baby, like I'll do anything for you." He's just like, "Okay, yeah, whatever you say, baby, because I know it's going to change tomorrow." So it's like he's always confident on the outcome. And you guys always have to think from the end and work your way backwards. And no amount of chasing the girl, like as Hollywood tells you guys to do, is going to make this girl want you even more. And so let's jump into this email and come from this email and in this video from the perspective that, hey, like this girl, she's not really treating him that respectfully. And look at how he's reacting to that, and ask yourself, would a confident man be acting like this? And the answer is probably going to be no. So he goes, "Hey Selna, I love your content. I've been following you for 2 years now on YouTube here. I've looked into your Arrows program more than once, I will admit, but if we can't change the situation quickly, then I might join." I feel like you're looking at this from just like a quick fix, like of what might not be salvageable, man, and that shows depression. Or desperation, excuse me, not depression. It shows that you are eager to get this result. Why? Probably because you fear something. And so a lot of the times things can't be fixed quickly. As you're like, if you could fix this quickly, I might join. If we can't fix this quickly, I might join. Like when guys join my program, yeah, they get results, right? And some of them, there was a guy last week that joined the program who he literally got a girlfriend in like the first week of the program. Like it was pretty wild to see that. And even like I'm working with him now to have a very successful relationship because it's what he wanted. But usually that doesn't happen. And it's not because like you can't do that, but it's just I recommend you guys grow at your own pace. And typically you're not going to find your dream girl a week into joining the program. That's like a complete outlier. But as long as we get you those results eventually and just help you understand really all the signals, man, and all the confidence that you need to have and understanding how to apply that, it's naturally going to attract that woman into your life. But yeah, there's some guys that get results pretty fast within a week or two, but most guys, and you're going to see guys that take about maybe like a month or two, and they're going to start seeing some results, and that's totally fine because I want you guys to grow at your own pace. And as long as we get you there, because the divorce rate, it's over freaking 60% nowadays. And so as long as we just help you really understand this stuff and get this stuff ingrained into your mindset, you're not going to be one of those guys that suffers from a divorce and dates the wrong low quality toxic bitch like a lot of these guys are seeing. And it's not all women. There's men too that are completely toxic. But anyways, like I said, as long as we get you there at your own pace, a lot of times it's not going to be quickly. You have to accept that things in life take time, and they take effort on your end, doing the right things every single day. So he goes, "I've been talking to this girl for 6 weeks, and the first couple weeks were going great. I took her on multiple dates, and it seemed like finally I was going to get a girlfriend. By the way, I'm 28 from Kentucky and have a good job with life insurance. It's just always been a challenge attracting a girl ever since my ex and I broke up 2 years ago. But this one seemed like the one, and I started slipping up. One night after our third date, she told me she really liked me, and I let it get to my head. I started to over-text her, and when she wouldn't respond for hours, I would send another text, and we started talking daily. Women will speak on how they feel in the moment, so the fact that she was sitting here and she was telling you like, oh, I really like you, those feelings are fleeting. They will not always be there, especially when you're in the talking phase. There will be times when she feels this way for you, and then she backs up a little bit, and there'll be times when she doesn't really like you at some times, and then she comes back and she just is like super aggressive over text trying to get you on a date. When you're talking to a girl, especially from the start, her emotions are going to be in a way because she's unsure. She's like, I like this guy, but am I sure about him? I really like him. Oh, that was really sweet of what he did, but what about this? And she'll pull back. It's because in those moments, her emotions really run her, and women run based on emotion. And so sometimes she will really feel this rush of emotion about how attracted she is to you, and then she'll just pull back. And when guys get a girl that says, "Oh, I really like you," they start to get really, really excited that they're like, "Oh, I'm about to get that relationship. I'm finally about to get that girlfriend." Like you said, you're like, "I'm gonna get that girlfriend finally." And then when she pulls back a little bit, it makes them chase even harder because they're like, "Oh, like I wanna get back to where she says she likes me and she really cares about me, so I have to overcompensate to please her." And that really puts you in this really bad perspective because it's gonna make her lose interest very, very quickly because it shows desperation that you're not comfortable with just basking in the tension and the stress of it going in this emotional wave. So he says she began to pull away and her texts were becoming drier and she stopped initiating to hang out with me. She claimed she was too busy, and then finally she agreed to hang out with me at her place. Like, look at how you're talking. He said, finally she agreed to hang out with me at her place. Like, you're putting this girl on a pedestal, man. Like, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Like, where's the self-respect in that? Where's the confidence in that? Where you're just like, you know what? Like, I'm valuable too, baby. So, you know what? Like, if you don't want to hang out with me, that's totally fine. I'll find someone who will want to hang out with me. There's no self-respect in that statement. Like, finally, Jesus. She agreed to hang out with me. What? Come on, man. Get some fucking self-respect for yourself. Jeez. He says, so I go to her place and surprisingly she doesn't answer the phone when I get there. So I go to her door and she doesn't answer again. She just stopped replying. I try to get a hold of her for an hour and I just wait there. She doesn't pick up the phone until one try, a guy picks up her phone for her. Ultimate disrespect, man. I bet you were pissed. He goes, hey, this is Sarah's phone. She's in the bathroom right now, but I saw you call it a few times and wanted to see if everything's okay. I was just sitting there trying to figure out who this guy was. Then she comes back and grabs the phone apparently and says, hey, you should come to this bonfire. I'm down the street. I thought she was so busy, right? But apparently she has time for a freaking bonfire down the street. He said, instead of going to the bonfire, I just drove home and we haven't talked for 2 days now. What would you do if you were me? I wouldn't call her. I wouldn't pursue her or contact her in any way. I would wait for her to reach out to you. And here's the reason is because she left you hanging, dude. Another dude answered the phone for her. Which that means that the phone was sitting there and the phone was on vibrate or its sound was on and you could clearly see your calls were coming through and your texts were coming through because how did he see that you were calling her? How did he see that you were calling her and then answer the phone for her? Unless your texts were popping up and your calls were popping up on her phone. And so if you were sitting there waiting for her in the parking lot or the garage or wherever you're sitting at her place waiting for her, and you're calling her and you're texting her seeing where the fuck are you at when we agreed to a date tonight at your place, she saw all of those calls and all of those texts coming through, yet she didn't pick up the phone. Why? Shows that she's not really that into you. And so that's ultimately disrespectful. And so it's like if she comes back to you and she's like, you know, like you guys said you haven't talked in 2 days, like if she comes back and she's like, hey, like how come you haven't talked to me in a few days? You gotta be like, look, like I don't appreciate you. I don't appreciate you just bailing on me. Like literally we agreed to a date at your place and then suddenly you're at this bonfire and then I'm waiting in the parking lot. I just don't appreciate that. And she's either going to apologize or she's going to start making excuses about that. And if she apologizes, then be like, oh, you know what? Like, how about you make it up to me? You come over and we can make some s'mores together unless you have plans with, you know, the guy that answered your cell phone, of course, which would be absolutely hilarious. So that's exactly what I would do. If you guys need my help, then reach out to me on Instagram. And if you also want to book a call with me or my team to see if you're a great fit for my program, there is a link in the description below to book a call with us using Calendly. And so I'm Selna Kim, America's face of dating, and I will see you in the next video.